Hello, besties and bosses. How is everyone doing? I feel like this is a conversation I've been having with clients for a couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to having with all of you because I think this is such an interesting and important time of the year. But I also like to check in, see how we're doing. I know there's so much going on globally, also in the US, so I just want to check in with everyone. And a lot of my clients are affected in different ways, so just want to check in. If you need space in this group, please feel free to use that. I guess if you're listening on the vault, you can send me an email, but this is just more in the group, so I always just want to acknowledge and check in when I know there's just a lot going on. And I'll just say on a happy positive note, it is fall in New York City, and it is my happy time. This is my season, so I am taking all of that for what I can, even if it is kind of gray and rainy outside. I am like here for it. It is like got me on fire. I feel like I always have lots of energy, but oh my goodness, fall gives me a lot. So that's my personal note. All right, I want to jump into this. I've got a lot I want to cover today, and I hope this will be really valuable for you as we're already a couple weeks into Q4. I missed the start of it since I was on vacation, but I wanted to talk about what my clients and I are focused on to close out Q4 with an extra 10K to 100K in their business. My clients are obviously at different places in business, so for some of them, they're looking at literally adding on an extra six figures or more, and some of them are looking at adding on just some extra revenue as we close out the end of the year. I know it feels a little weird because it's just the beginning of Q4. I feel like it's like when you were a kid and you were shopping, you're like, why is the Christmas stuff out when it's almost like it's not even Halloween yet? And I did the math on this. There are 44 days, I believe, as of today, unless I did the math wrong, until Black Friday, and there are 78 days until the end of the year. So we're actually in, if we are looking at planning strategically for the end of the year and adding on extra revenue, we are actually in the time. I mean, I've been talking Black Friday stuff with my clients for a couple of weeks, past month already. So we're kind of at that time or past that time. I also feel like this is one of those times of year. Actually, I didn't pull this up. There we go. Let me know if you're here. Say hi. If you have questions, we're going through this as well. I want this to obviously be beneficial for you. So now we're on the replay. But I feel like this time of year, the reason I want to have this conversation particularly is I see just the pendulum swing so much. And I feel like it is such a confusing time of year. I think most people get extra busy, business stuff, but also just personal life things, kid things that are going on. Obviously, that's not even including the state of the world, which has just always been a thing, but I think it has just been ratcheted up, especially, well, globally, but especially I think in the US the last couple of weeks with the shutdown. So it is just a louder, busier, stressful time of year. So what I really see happen is this can be one of the most lucrative times of year for businesses. That's where the whole idea of Black Friday came around, right? Like that is when a lot of businesses got into the black, meaning they got out of the red, meaning they became profitable. And what I see for so many of us is we kind of pendulum swing to either like, oh my gosh, this is like pointless. I tried something last year for Black Friday. No one buys in December. Like, what's the point of the end of the year? Like almost like this pull back complete mode, or this like very frenetic energy of like, I just like don't know what to do. I'm a chicken with my head cut off, like spinning all the plates and things. And so I just want us not to close the year out that way. So I want to dispel a couple of myths. People do buy in December. This is a lucrative time of year. And I do think this is a time of year where we have to be, we always have to be intentional and strategic in 2025 going into 2026. But there are some specific things I'm talking about with clients to think about that. So whether or not you're having a Black Friday sale, this conversation will be valuable for you. I want to talk a little bit about what I see shifting last year, this year, around Black Friday sales and the end of the year. How I'm talking with clients about that, whether they have a Black Friday sale or they're launching this time of year, why this matters if you want to bring in extra revenue, whatever that might be for you. I'm going to share just a couple of things we're really thinking about in terms of how to strategically market and sell out your offers this time of year and how to set yourself up for a profitable 2026. I think we forget that so many people, especially if you have high ticket offers, a lot of people are also starting to think about their next year's investments depending on what it is you offer and sell. And so I think now is a really great time to be thinking about that. So we'll talk about that with launching as well. So let me just pull up my notes because I feel like I have a lot I want to say. And again, let me know if you're here, say hi. Let me know if this is feeling relevant for you. Okay, so to preface, I have been, for those of you who don't know me, I think most of you know me in this group, but I've been in business as of March next year. I'll have been in business for a decade, which means I've seen a lot of Black Fridays in the online space. Obviously, as a consumer, I've seen them. I'll be 44, and how old am I going to be? I'll be 44 in November. So I've also seen a lot as a consumer, but as a business owner, I've really seen seen the changes in the online space in particular. I still remember being a kid. Do you remember when it was like, I never was into Black Friday sales, but like when people would like line up at like midnight or something for the next day to buy a TV, right? Online has changed the way Black Friday has gone so much. I don't know if everybody's a different age. Like when I was a kid, that was a thing people would do. And so now we have that happening in the online space towards the end of the year. And what I've just seen over the years, particularly the last couple of years, based on saturation, based on, I think honestly, just people maturing in the online space, not just business owners, but consumers and buyers in the online space. And that obviously, you know, the trust recession, reach being down, all of that. What I've seen is Black Friday in particular, but also end of year sales. I've just been seeing them really be protracted because we have to think about why that would happen. Back in the day, right, Black Friday was just Black Friday, but that's because we didn't have, like, you had to go to a store. There was a limited number of things. You would wait in a line, right? It was like the doorbusters, I think was the term. You would buy those and like they would buy out. Well, online has changed all of that, right? We don't have to, I mean, I guess you could like, electronically wait in line, but it has just really changed even in terms of how we buy things and so how we sell things, which again, we've seen Black Friday turn into Cyber Monday, turn into the whole weekend. And the last couple of years, we've just seen that get protracted in our space. And so what used to be a 1-day sale turned into a 2 to 3 day sale. The last couple of years, I've really seen it turn into a week-long sale and even a month-long sale for some people. And I think that's something we really want to be aware of so that we can plan and market around that. And I'll talk more about that, but I think it's just helpful for us to have that context. And then similarly, because this is happening then in the month of November, even if you're not planning a Black Friday sale, I think this is really important to understand for what else you are strategically planning in terms of your marketing and sales, because that is going to impact things. If you run ads, not to create a story, but your ad costs generally go up this time of year, right? More people are online selling, more people are online marketing. If you're launching a new program, we want to keep this in mind, because if you're doing that in the middle of what is a very, very busy and distracted time and a short window buying time for a lot of people, that can really affect results. So again, it doesn't mean that this isn't a great time of year. I think this is going to be a very profitable time. I think this is a very profitable time for a lot of businesses. And these are all things we want to take into account. And I think things that have just shifted over the years. Tara says, hi, I was going to talk to you about Black Friday, so this is perfect. Great. We can talk about it here, and then we can talk about it more privately. I'm so glad this is feeling relevant. Okay. So let's zoom out a little bit. And Tara, you can let me know if you have specific questions around this, but maybe this will also speak to you. I think what is just helpful to level set with Black Friday in particular, and then I'll go back to launching this time of year. But with Black Friday in particular, I think what is just helpful to remember is that because of the changes in the way we're both buying and selling, a lot of people are already thinking about what they want to buy for Black Friday. I know we're no longer, I mean, I think there are some people who are just like, what's a good sale? But a lot of us are now getting primed for the sales start coming out early. I'm starting to think about what am I going to bookmark my Black Friday money for, especially with high ticket offers. I know for me, there's a couple of things every year Black Friday that I like to purchase, and I literally all year long bookmark put a big chunk of money aside because I know I'm going to spend a significant amount of money at Black Friday because I know this is a sale that happens every year. Similarly, I'm not a big like impulse buyer. I love and respect my money. I love to buy things, but I like to buy things with intention. So, you know, there are gym clothes, for example. Like I know there's a couple of companies, they're going to have some things on sales. Bedding, I'm always a big one on, but I'm starting to pay attention to now, kind of like bookmarking those things. So the reason I say that is I think it's just really helpful to remember that Black Friday is a time, if you're going to lean into Black Friday sales, to be really intentional. I think in the past, when I came into the online space 10 years ago, I do think you could just kind of like throw stuff up, and Black Friday can always be a hit or miss unless you're planning intentionally, but I do think there's just a little bit more of time of like, let's just throw some stuff out there and like see what happens. I think now because people are both planning intentionally because of the way people are marketing earlier and longer, in terms of how they're going to spend their dollars, and because it is more saturated than ever. It is more crowded than ever. It is louder than ever. There are more people selling. Yes, trust is down, but also we're just seeing reach be down for a lot of people and ad costs going up. It's not for a lot of my clients aren't experiencing that. I'm personally not experiencing that right now, and I am seeing that across businesses. When you put all of this together, what this tells us is if you want to have a Black Friday sale, by all means do, but I would really start thinking about that intentionally now and treating this like a mini launch, not something that, I mean, I'll throw myself under the bus. I think the first year in business or second year in business, I literally was like the day before, I'm like, oh, I should sell something on Black Friday. Let me find like one of my done for you products and just like put it on sale and like make a little extra cash. I'm not saying you can't do that, but if you do that, I would just hold very low expectations. If you're really wanting this to be a time of year where you're planning on like bringing this in as extra revenue, I have clients who, and peers as well, who use this time of year, and like it is a really big cash injection for them. I would just be thinking of this like anything else in your business where we just want to have a little intentionality and strategy around it. Because otherwise, I do think it is just, it's just a little bit hit or miss, or it's just a bit of a crapshoot, and it's not that you can't just throw spaghetti out at the wall and see what happens and see if you can pick up some sales. I'm not saying don't do that. And the way I coach my clients, what I'm always thinking about is one of our resources as business owners is our time, and then obviously also our money if we're investing in team and ads and things like that. And so anything we're doing without intention and strategy, even if you're throwing something together, is still going to take a significant amount of time, energy, resources from you. And so in my opinion, and the way I coach clients is I would rather us do less better and really have that time intentionality and spend really pay off. Yes, we can just like do things for the sake of it. And if you just want to test something, but I don't think Black Friday is the best time to test something brand new because there's so many other variables at play. And so it really doesn't make, I mean, again, you do you. There's nothing wrong with that. But if we know just throwing something out there is barely going to get eyeballs, even just throwing something out there in 2025 and going into 2026 does take, again, significant time and energy, whether that's from you or team. Your time is worth money. Your team's time is worth money. Ads are worth money. If you use organic is not free. Organic marketing still takes our time and energy. So again, I think it's just a time to get really clear on, is this something I'm going to lean into or not? And so I'm coaching clients around, again, you do you, but I would really invite you to get very clear on, do I want to have a Black Friday sale? And then to treat it like something I'm taking seriously and putting strategy around, or is this something I'm going to sit out, and how then am I marketing and selling through the end of the year, because you can still bring in a significant amount of revenue. I'll use myself as an example. I'm not, full disclosure, I'm not having a Black Friday sale. I haven't in a very long time. I offer one-on-one, I'm full. I have intensives open up from time to time. It literally doesn't make sense for me to do that. However, I am running a free masterclass because I want to speak to the reach issue and just give you all some tools for that. I can't help myself. So we've got a free masterclass in November. But the way I'm even thinking about that, and this is for those of you who don't want to offer Black Friday, and those of you who are, whether it's marketing to bring in sales for this year or next year, or you're looking at launching something, I'm running my masterclass before Black Friday, and I'm coaching all of my clients who, again, are launching something else or running marketing events, because a lot of you, this is something to think about. Again, people are not just thinking about their purchases for Black Friday, but a lot of people are thinking about, a lot of us tap out the end of December, right? Like the end of the year, but we're thinking about our January investments. So I am coaching a lot of clients to think about marketing and launching that's prepping people for the New Year's sales, priming them for that, bringing in those New Year's sales. It's so nice to start out the year already with six figures, multi-six figures in sales secured under the belt because you brought in those clients, or selling into wait lists or offers that are smaller ticket offers designed to warm up their audience for that New Year launch or sale. But what we're looking at timeline, and I know I'm bouncing around a little bit here, so hopefully this is all sounding cohesive for you, but again, let me know if you have questions or if you want clarity around this. But what we're really thinking about then is timeline is now until before Black Friday. I think is a great time to have a different sale, to have a different launch. I personally would not be launching anything new past that into the end of the year. I have a couple of clients who are who will launch and sell things into December, but most of them are, it is not a new offer, and it is something that will start in the new year. And again, the reason I'm giving such general sweeping thoughts here, because I'm not coaching y'all one-on-one, this is going to be different for every business. Obviously, you might have a very different niche or a very different audience, and or you have an offer that really makes sense in December. So please hear this with the general nature in which this is meant. That's the beauty of one-on-one. might say one thing to one client, something completely to another client. So these are broad scope views with this. But for the majority of us, December is a time where we just have a lot more on our plates as business owners, as parents, as friends, like whatever holiday you celebrate, travel. A lot of people take some time off that year. You can still make plenty of sales and money, but it is usually a time where something that is familiar, that we're either planning on, that we do every year, that we already know about, is going to make sense, or that we're thinking about, great, I can consume this, I can understand this, but I'm going to start in the new year. So again, not that you can't start I start new clients in December. I'm in some ways, for business, I do think there's an argument to be made that January, February, March results are based on what we're doing right now. So again, that can make sense, but if I were to offer that in December, for example, that's not a brand new offer to me in my business. I wouldn't ask my audience to wrap their head around a brand new launch, a brand new offer, a brand new thing, when their brains are probably already full with everything that's going on in the world, and then particularly full in December. So I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole, but in general, if you're launching something, I would recommend doing that before Black Friday, not doing something new during Black Friday. If you are selling Black Friday, I'm going to talk more about Black Friday sales specifics, but this is for those of you who aren't having a Black Friday sale. And then I would definitely still be selling in December. Lots of people buy in December. I just think it's a great time to think about bite-sized marketing, right? Not asking people to sit on super long master classes, webinars, for example, when their schedules are probably tight. And if you're going to introduce something new, just being really mindful of the timeline someone might need to be able to understand that, consume that, get started with that with your audience. And otherwise, absolutely sell, but selling the things that your audience already knows about, that they're going to be able to really benefit from in a busier month. I think we just always want to be mindful of what our audience, what our people are going through. All right, but I'm going to pivot back to Black Friday. Brittany says, love the idea of getting ready for 2026. Also scary. I feel you. It is wild to me that it's October already in 2025. So I feel you on that. And I think, Brittany, this is just helpful and just for everybody. And Tara says, yes, please. I probably am like such a broken record about this, but I think we just forget that most results we see in business today are the result of what we were doing, what we were thinking, who we were being, and what we were taking action on and doing 3 months prior. So it doesn't mean that we can't do something today and see a result really quickly, but results do, actions, strategies take time to compound, build up, and to give us data and a result. And so that's why now is really what we're doing now really is going to start showing up for us in January in particular, which is actually a great segue back into the Black Friday sales conversation. So knowing that and knowing all of the other things I've been saying, reach is down. It is more crowded than ever. People are planning their buying dollars in advance. We're expecting these longer, more protracted sales. I think knowing all of that, when it comes to Black Friday, what I'm talking about with clients quite particularly is first and foremost, really looking at what we're going to sell for Black Friday. And unless there's a reason for bringing something new that makes sense for that specific business owner and niche, we're really looking at how are we selling offers that your audience already knows about, that they're already familiar with. In general, again, I'm sweeping generalizations here. I don't think Black Friday is a great time to introduce something new. You can, all right? And some people like to do that just to see, can they get some excitement and drum something up, especially I think I had one client do this last year for something she was launching in January, but that was really still an intentional, strategic thing. We weren't expecting massive results. We were using that as a time to prime people for the new year. For every other one of my clients who are really looking at this as a time where it's I want to bring in that extra 10K to 100K or more in my business from Black Friday through the end of the year in sales or in cash, we're looking at what offer is your what's already hot with your audience? What is that flagship offer? What do they already know? What are they juicy with? And ideally, what can you get known for? Having a kick-ass sale around Black Friday that people can start to plan for. So when hopefully they buy this year and they buy every year, if it's something that's a reoccurring offer. And if they don't, that they have some FOMO, that they start to think about next year. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't do that. Let me do that next year, like the things that I plan for generally each year. The other thing we're really looking at is marketing that is designed to target your warm audience. So Black Friday in particular, it is such a, yes, we can protract the sales time, but it is a short window of time. It is saturated. This is a time where most people are pretty clear on what they want to get. It's not that everything is possible. It's not that you can't pick up some cold leads and a cold lead can't buy from you. It's just, if we know reach is down, and reach is how we get in front of cold new traffic, and we know ad costs are going to go up this time of year in general for most people, it just strategically doesn't make sense to really, and there's a shorter window period, and it's just a more chaotic, louder time when everybody is selling. It just generally doesn't make sense to put your marketing efforts towards a bunch of cold traffic during Black Friday. So what we're really looking at is, what is, again, that offer that your audience is already hot around, like they're already excited about, they already know about. How are we targeting marketing to warm traffic? So whether that's organic marketing or ads, I know a couple of my clients are really looking at things like retargeting ads. We're focusing on those people who are already warm, primed, already know you, already, they're on the fence. They're like already excited to buy from you, so that we're giving them something juicy that they're excited for to move off the fence, not trying to bring in a new cold lead and move them all the way through your pipeline to a sale. The other thing we're really looking at is protracting the sales process. Yes, maybe the actual open cart, close cart sales window is going to be, just a couple of days during Black Friday or that week, but we're really looking at literally right now starting to talk about things, and starting to tease those offers out. Past clients, because I think last year was very similar. Clients who had a lot of success last year, peers I know who have a lot of success during Black Friday and sales towards the end of the year. It's one of the biggest difference makers I see. And if I think about who I'm literally spending money on over Black Friday, yeah, I mean, I might have an impulse buy here or there, but even those impulse buys are probably people who have started letting me know they're going to have a really great sale or what I should be excited about pretty early on. It's generally not like Black Friday I wake up, or like the day before I'm waiting in line. That I think is not something new. If we go back to the idea of like back in the day when we would wait in line, right, for those doorbusters, that happened because everybody knew in advance there were going to be like whatever TV, whatever technology, I feel like it was always technology, was going to be on sale, right? They had to know that in advance to even get in line in advance. Like that really isn't a new thing. But I do think we're having to bring that window back a little bit more for all the reasons I just talked about. I think the other thing we forget is when reach is down, when trust is down, when there's just more people doing what there have been than ever before. In general, most of us just need more touch points than ever. So even if you're speaking to warm audience members who are excited about your offer, generally what did I just hear? I've heard 40 to 60 micro touch points. I've heard 21 touch points elsewhere. It used to be like people needed 7. People just need so many more. So that's just really tough to do if you're giving yourself a like Black Friday to Cyber Monday window, as opposed to stretching that timeline out. Let me know if there's questions around that. I saw another comment, but I think, and like these are literally the calls I've been having the last couple of weeks. We're just digging in and mapping out a strategy and plan around that. This doesn't have to be complicated, but again, I think this just goes back to being intentional and strategy. One question I think I had a note here that I wanted to make sure I touched on. Did I have a note? Oh, yes. Okay. So one of the questions I'm having clients also check in with if they're wanting a Black Friday sale is also just looking at what is our goal. Is our goal to have a cash injection? Is our goal to bring in warm leads through like a micro offer to nurture them for a launch we're going to have in January? Is our goal to test? I mean, I don't think this is the best time to test things, to be quite honest, because there's so many extra variables. But with everything, I always want to know what my clients' goals are. But particularly with Black Friday, I do think we want to get clear on, are we trying to get that cash injection? If so, I really do think that's when it makes sense to keep things really simple, to keep it to your core flagship offer, and to keep it to something where it's like, this can be a juicy thing that happens once per year. For those of you with multiple offers, the other thing I'm talking with clients with is we just have to also be mindful that we're not cannibalizing other launches or other sales. Like we have to set up Black Friday in a way that it isn't such a a deal that now you just have everybody else in your offers pissed. I do think people understand that Black Friday is something different. Unless you are intentionally deciding you want this to be one of like the times of year where it's like this is where you get the majority of sales for that offer. But we need to know that in advance. If that's the case, then we are going to create such a juicy sale. But we also want to teach people like this is the time that people enroll into this program, into this offer. And then of course you can still have it open the rest of the year, but like that is just something you start to get known for. So again, just things that I would be thinking about. So again, you can just be really intentional and adjust your strategy accordingly, as opposed to the night before, like, let me just throw something together, or seeing what somebody else is doing, not understanding the intention behind it and thinking that's what I'm supposed to do too, or that's what I should do, or like Kim isn't having a Black Friday sale, so I shouldn't either. I mean, I think Black Friday is awesome. I'm probably going to have some FOMO. The only reason I'm not is it like I don't have anything to sell you all, so like it literally doesn't make sense for me. I mean, I guess I could sell you my 6-week sales course, but I basically give that away for free, and it's already only $99, so that you have some skin in the game. You know what I mean? It's like that's the reason I say that is it's just so easy otherwise to get into this game online where we see what someone's for. Like you can see everybody's marketing, you can see what people are marketing, selling, but to see that and to not understand why someone's doing something. So again, it just comes back to intentionality. It can go a really, really long way for having a lot of success. Okay. Tara says, I remember when it was 7. Yeah, right. Tara's talking about the touch points. Isn't that crazy? And I don't know how accurate these numbers are that I'm hearing. I mean, I've heard so many different numbers, but I do think it makes a lot of sense, Tara, if we think about it just in terms of not just the saturation and reach being down, because it's just assuming people have those touch points. I just think all of our brains are so overwhelmed in 2025 between everything going on, and our attention spans are shorter than ever. So I think for that reason alone, it makes sense that we need more attention, more touch points. I know for me, like I literally have to make notes on certain things like in multiple places because I need multiple touch points with myself to remind myself to do certain things I intend to do, just because, I think we're all just holding more than we used to. Okay, so question, Tara says, which do you generally recommend, money off or additional value? Have you seen one do better than the other? I think that's such a great question. So I think it depends on your goal. I think if your goal is to have a cash injection in general, I think money off is just always sexy for all of us. And I think Black Friday in particular, we're looking for deals. I think most people are looking for deals. Like I think like I don't know what else to say. Like I know the thing that that I'm getting. It's skincare stuff. That's why I'm like being vague. I'm like it's so not relevant for a lot of people. I spend a lot of money on skincare stuff and I do it once a year. I know if they had bonuses, like I don't know, I probably would be interested in that, but I'm so much more excited about like the juicy money savings I can get, and I think that's just the case across the board. That being said, I have a couple of clients who are either doing a hybrid of money off and a juicy bonus. I do think what I'm seeing, this is kind of a side note across the board with launches, I really am seeing juicy bonuses that people would pay for on their own that are time sensitive. They're only this time around overall doing really well with launches and being a reason people are enrolling when they wouldn't have in the past. So I do think bonuses are great. I think we have to be mindful in 2025 with everything I just said. We're overwhelmed. Our bandwidth is shorter. We have a lower attention span. So I think bonuses that aren't like, and now here's a bunch more shit you have to consume, and more here's something that makes your life easier, helps you get this result better. I think looking at bonuses in that way, the time I would say a bonus does better that I would think about it is if you're wanting to be mindful, you don't cannibalize one of your offers where like this is an offer you sell all the time, right? You're doing a Black Friday sale. This isn't going to be like your main push for most of your sales for 2026. This is just, a cash injection, a Black Friday sale. And you don't want to discount it so heavily that you have a bunch of people who are pissed about that or coming back for it. I think then having something that is a specific bonus that you can offer is a really great way to temper that. So Tara, let me know if that answers the question, but in general, big picture, we all just love money off. Bonuses, I think, could go a really long way. So I think, again, this is a little specific, like if you have an offer and you have a juicy bonus that you only offer once a year, that like that's the thing people would pay for on their own, I would do that over the money. And then depending on your goals, you can do a hybrid or pick one or the other. Tara says yes, that makes sense. Okay, let me see, did I have any other, I feel like I had one other thing that I wanted to share here. Sorry, this is what happens when you make so many notes. Sometimes I just riff on ideas, but this one actually feels, oh, this is the last thing I was going to share. I hope this is all valuable for y'all. With Black Friday, again, the attention span is, all of our attention spans are short, and the window is short. So in general, what I'm recommending clients do is, and this is like always the thing, like have one CTA, have one core offer, sell one thing. So in general, I'm recommending we keep it really focused to one offer and keeping that core focus very clear and tight, because obviously the more CTAs we have, the more offers we have, the more options we have. Studies have shown this. People don't pick more. The more options we have, the more people get decision fatigue, the less they pick anything. And there's a caveat. So this is with my clients in general. That being said, I have a couple of clients who have really large audiences and large offer suites, and audiences who are split in terms of trying to think of how to share this without like saying anybody, like in terms of like what their needs are and like what like entry point, like level, like their offers meet people at different places and like their phases of growth. I'll use myself as an example. Let's just say I had a course because I work with clients who are brand new to business, clients who are growing, clients who are scaling. I have clients who are, you know, making their first 6 figures, and clients who are, you know, the 2 million plus mark and everywhere in between. I might, even if I don't have a huge audience, I do have audience members at different points. So for my clients who either have a really big audience, right, so it's segmented, there's just a lot of people there, or they have audiences that they're offering things at different places, that's the exception to the rule where we're testing. I mean, we don't really know because everything is a test. And I think the thing with Black Friday is kind of a little bit of not a crapshoot. Everything's strategic, but like what works this year might be very different than next year, and we haven't had all year long to test what Black Friday is like. But what we're testing is for them. We are testing offers that are either like different entry points for that larger audience, because then people can self-select, or offers that are Black Friday offers that are meeting people kind of at those different stages of business. So. And I say that because I think there's just always so much nuance. In general, I would keep things simple, have one thing, not create decision fatigue. And that is the case, like the exception to the rule there. It's kind of like the money off the bonuses or both. So I hope that I'm just seeing if I had anything else I wanted to, yeah, I think those are the main things. Let me just see if we have any other questions. Let me know if you have any other questions as I'm wrapping this up. But just as a summary here, you do not have to have a Black Friday sale to make money through the end of the year. I think all of Q4 is an excellent time. I think there is such a fucked up narrative in our space that people don't buy this time of year, and that there like has to be a slowdown here. And I think there's a lot of things that are true. What is true is that this is also a time of a year when people are actively looking to make investments for now or next year. People are actively looking to buy gifts for themselves and for others. People actively are in the mindset of, I am going to spend during Black Friday. I am going to spend during the holiday. I am going to spend for my business to maximize tax incentives, right? A lot of us are looking at what are those things I want to buy. November is usually my most expensive month in business because I stack up on a bunch of business investments. I mean, we need, I don't have to spend money, but I also know, like, let's get them in now because that's going to help me with my taxes. And again, we have a lot of people who are investing for the new year. So that is very true. Yes, it is true that sometimes December can be a quieter month for some of us, depending on what we offer. I know, my business, like, clients are taking time off, people are with their families, right? Like, it can just be quieter, and so we can plan around that if we're like, oh, like, it just, like, historically is quieter. I also want to slow down. I don't feel like having a big sales push in December. That is fine, but the narrative that people don't invest or buy now is just, I think, inherently false. I think both are true, and part of this is knowing your business and knowing your audience, and also knowing what you want, and remembering that Black Friday is one technically week out of a whole quarter. December is 1 month out of 3 months of a quarter. So even if, we'll use me as an example, even if I know December is usually a more quiet month for me, if I know that, then I'm also going to strategically, I mean, my business maybe isn't the best example because I don't know, I have a full one-on-one practice, but even in that case, like I know clients take time off of vacation. Like I know if I wanted to, like that would be a month I could do more intensives. I usually do a VIP day or two because I just know I have clients are on vacation and that sort of thing. If you want a VIP day, actually, we might have sold the only one I had in for December, but hit me up for that or a strategy intensive. But the point being is you can also then strategically plan the rest of Q4 around that because Q4 is traditionally a time where people really are thinking about those investments. So I just want to preface that with like, this isn't just about Black Friday. This isn't just about like, do people buy in December or not? This is about all of Q4 and understanding your business and your audience so you can, and yourself, start to strategically plan when you're marketing, when you're selling, what you're selling, and maximize those times, but also not make yourself crazy. For example, if you know you want to, I have a couple of clients like to take 2 or 3 weeks off in December. If that's the case, don't plan a launch in December, for example, but plan the rest of Q4 up accordingly so you can bring in those sales to set yourself up for success when you come back in 2026. And then just that reminder with Black Friday, you do you, everything is possible. I do think we are past, if we are caring about leveraging our time, our resources, scaling smarter, not harder, if we think time is money and what we pay ourselves, our team, ads, all of that, as being an investment of some sort, I just generally think anybody can do whatever they want, but I would really look at Black Friday as a time to be intentional and strategic. Like definitely go for it. I would hold light expectations if you've never had it. If this isn't something you've been doing every year and teaching your audience around, it would not have what I'm saying mean, oh my gosh, it's pointless to sell on Black Friday. Black Friday is like, go sell your face off. I would just hear what I'm saying as it just means we want to start a little bit earlier and just put a little bit of strategy and intention around that versus like 2 days before trying to slap something together. Okay, y'all, I love y'all so much. I hope this is helpful. If anybody wants support with this, I am full with one-on-ones. Do we have a strategy intensive? I could technically open. I'll put a consult. I feel like the only reason I'm saying is I am full and for a strategy intensive for Black Friday sales week. You would need to, I think we'd want to like book that in the next week or two so we could get you ready for November. But if overall you wanted to plan out your Q4 and really start to think about 2026, I will open up at least a strategy intensive in November and December. I might be able to open up one more VIP day if anyone's in New York City and wants that. So I will drop a link for a free coaching consultation if that's something you're interested in, if you want to map through that strategy, obviously the mindset around it, but really just how to intentionally plan that out and really thinking about the positioning around that and how to roll that out so it works with your audience, your business to maximize those sales. I would love to support you so you can close out this year strong with that extra 10K to 6 figures or more, but also set yourself up with those sales already in place for 2026 to hit the ground running. I think that is such a great way to start the year. Like I know I already have reoccurring revenue set up for 2026 because of my practice, and it is such a great feeling in business to know that that is already secure, and obviously we can always add to that, but I think that's just such a nice place for most business owners to be at. So if that's something you're interested in, I would love to support you with that. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here, and I hope, if nothing else, this will remind you that it is a great time to sell. Like, lean in, go after it. Like, you can have a lot at the end of this year, so I hope it can change that story a little bit. All right, I will see you all next week.